It's coming down to the final hours now for the missing submarine, the tourist vessel that was visiting the Titanic shipwreck 370 miles off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. The 5 on board would already be feeling the loss of air supply. Last night, as we went to air, there was breaking news that sounds of banging had been detected around the site of the Titanic shipwreck. But since then, no official updates on the search and rescue mission. Retired Navy Commodore Peter Scott is an expert on deep sea adventures. He just wrote a memoir, Running Deep, documenting some of the near misses that he had while commanding a submarine. Peter joins me now. Peter, thank you very much for your time.
Sure.
Now, you truly are an expert in this field. You've spent 34 years in the Navy.
Yep.
You served in 10 submarines, including as Director General Submarines in Navy Strategic Command before you retired in 2017.
Yeah, that's right.
The question is this: what are the chances now of finding the Titan submersible before the oxygen runs out?
Yeah, I think the chances are pretty slim now. By best estimates, they had a 4-day supply of air on the submarine. That will be running out this evening. I think there's certainly, that's a calculation. So there's margin for error either way on that. But they've not found it in the first 4 days. There's more and more assets there now, so they'll be better equipped to locate the submarine in coming days. Whether or not they can do that before the atmosphere runs out is probably pretty doubtful at the moment.
So what happened over the past 24 hours? Because just yesterday, the Canadian Patrol picked up through sonar technology signs of life, banging, that they said was near the Titanic shipwreck. This, of course, was where the Titan last made its ping, its communication with its mother vessel that was monitoring it before it lost contact. So why isn't it, if we've got all this incredible technology, we've got the best in the world technology, why isn't it that a vessel couldn't have gone down to the Titanic shipwreck and actually had a look at what's going on?
So I think you've got to have the right technology in the right place at the right time. And, there's a lot of things making this a very difficult search and rescue operation. To start with, it's several hundred miles off the Canadian coast. So any search vessel, whether it's air or sea, needs to be mobilised and needs to get there. That can take days, as we've seen. Then it's got to have the right capability to do the job, to either get down to that depth and have the right equipment to search. Very difficult Of course, it's a very small vessel. This is, I would describe it as the size of a large shark or a small whale. It took over 70 years to discover the Titanic out there in that depth of water in that part of the ocean.
And as I understand
it's a very challenging problem.
Deeper than 1,000 metres, it's pitch black.
It'll be pitch black down there, certainly.
And that's why they need the sonar, because there's no visibility at all. Is that right?
So sonars operate in different ways. Some are passive, so there'll be passive sonars that have heard what was reported as those banging noises, so they're just listening for sound. Active sonars are a bit like a radar. They send out a signal and they're looking for a return. But you've got to be able to distinguish the return.
Yeah.
And it might look a lot like, debris from the Titanic, even if they did see it. The other way to find it, of course, is to see it, but you've got to get a robot down there with very powerful lights, and even they have, very limited field of view.
We've all seen reports over the past couple of days just that really it looks like the best safety procedures weren't followed. I mean, reports that to control this submersible, they had kind of video game controllers.
Yeah.
And a history of things going wrong and losing contact with the mother vessel. Well, what's your assessment of how this ship was operating, charging tourists $250,000 for a trip when safety was far from assured?
Yeah, so I would say complete safety is far from assured in any operation at that depth. There's just certain risks, and it's not that you can't guarantee safety in those sorts of circumstances. I think there'll be plenty of time once this is resolved, and there'll be plenty of questions asked to understand whether shortcuts were taken with safety. I guess what I would say is, you know, the submarine was designed for a specific purpose. You know, I would not compare it to, for example, one of the submarines that we operate in the Royal Australian Navy, because they're designed for a different purpose. They're built with capacity, they're built with capability, they're built with redundancy.
Peter Scott, I really appreciate your thoughts. Such a fascinating topic. And look, we've just got to hope for the next few hours.
We do.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Sharri.